Today on Us Weekly's Reality Recap, we have a special edition, Love is Blind. We will be recapping the first 5 episodes from the pods to the proposals to the breakup. Plus, Zach and Irina reveal what went wrong during their relationship.
I will say that when I saw him, it wasn't anything about his looks or anything, but I just had this gut feeling that something just didn't feel right. And I didn't feel like safe or comfortable.
I wouldn't say the mistake with Irina. What I would say is I made a mistake with not picking Bliss.
And Micah defends mean girl Irina.
She was what I needed at the time, and I think she's a great person.
We've got that plus so much more on today's Us Weekly's Reality Recap. Hey guys, Christina Arbaldi here with Us Weekly executive producer Mandy DeCamp, and welcome to a special edition of Reality Recap, Love is Blind season 4.
So excited.
Back, and I think this is better than ever.
I honestly think it's the best season yet.
It's so good.
This show is just so good. You must watch the show if you're watching us right now. So tell us in the comments, why is this show so freaking good? I cannot get enough of it.
I can't get enough of it. What I think is that this show sets people up to succeed rather than like The Bachelor, where, you have 30 people vying for one person. This is like, you have probably 30 people all like going on these dates, and then you're all live in the same city. So you're all going back to the same city. You're kind of picking up your lives where you left off, but trying to like mix somebody else in with it. So I think it really does try to set people up to.
I do like that they're pretty much from the same city.
Yes, I do too.
That makes a huge difference. And I've said that they should do that on Bachelor too.
Yes.
Like, why not? You can find 30 people in Dallas who are single and 100%. Want to go on the show. Why not set them up for success? I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And, and you're getting to know the person on a totally different level rather than, just based on the looks. It's such a genius concept. And
it's one of the things, like I've said it to my husband, if I was single, I would apply for the show.
Yes.
Like I want to go through this social experiment.
Right.
I probably wouldn't make it, but I still would like to see.
But the track record, yes, of a few relationships haven't worked out post, but a lot of them have. And, people are still together. Look at Amber and Barnett. Who would have thought the two of them would still be together?
I certainly didn't predict that they would still be together.
Yeah.
I also, next season of the show, I didn't do it this season, but I kind of want to watch it with a blindfold.
Yes.
See, if I think, to see what I think these people look like in my head. It's like when you're reading a book and you picture the people and then they make a movie and you're like, I wouldn't have cast that.
Exactly.
And I also have my Love is Blind cup.
Oh my God, I love that.
I got this seasoned wine. It's really great because I break a lot of wine glasses and you can't break it. But I'm only drinking cold brew this morning.
I love that so much. Well, we wanted to break down the first 5 episodes, like we said, from the pods to the proposals, and of course, that not so surprising breakup. Let's start off with what I think is probably the strongest couple there, Tiffany and Brett. Yeah. Right off the bat, they kind of hit it off. They're both in their mid-30s. They are well established in their careers, and they really want to settle down and start a family. And it seems like, this is the perfect match.
I love them. If they don't work out, I might stop watching the show.
Right.
Because they seem to be a perfect match together. Like you said, mid-30s, they're ready for this. They're ready to find love. I hate the word settle down, but they're ready to settle down.
Right.
Have babies. They'd make beautiful babies. Very strong connection. Definitely the strongest that we've seen so far this season.
I think so too. And I feel like I would be shocked if they did not get together at the end. Like I really would be.
I'd be heartbroken because I really think they are meant to be.
I really do too. I think that they are meant to be, and I really like them a lot together.
I love the story too. I love how he didn't grow up wealthy and now he's like a bigwig at Nike. Good for him. That's awesome.
Good for him. And I really like them together. And then there's Chelsea and Kwame. I don't know about this couple yet. She seems all in on this. Yeah. He still seems to be a little hung up on Micah about whether or not, he should have, she kind of made the decision for him. She decided to go with Paul, but it seems like he really kind of was all in on Micah.
I also worry that if they end up together and she watches back that conversation that he had with Micah, I couldn't get past that personally. Wow. If that was my boyfriend from the pods. That was a very intimate conversation. Yes, there was alcohol involved, but that was with her sitting right there. So what's going to happen when she's not sitting right there and he's in this situation?
Right. They're having a 20-minute conversation by the pool. It's just not necessary. Yes, I mean, I'm sure they had a really strong emotional connection while they were in the pods, and that's not something that's easily. And you're seeing this person for the first time, and you're finally putting a face with, you know, the story. But it's just, I don't know. It kind of gave me vibes of like Cole and Colleen last season when they were like flirting by the pool, and that kind of blew up into this whole big thing. And you know, I mean, they did go back and they talked about it, and she's like, it wasn't necessary for you to have this long conversation. And we see Chelsea and Micah, you know, having talking at the end of the episode, which was interrupted by the rain. But I'm sure like probably conversations will be had when they go back and watch this.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Chelsea's a better person than I am. I also like, I don't want to use the word desperate for Chelsea. I don't want to say that, but I feel like she just so wants this to work.
Yes.
And is kind of blind to those red flags.
I agree with you. I really, really think she just wants love in the worst possible way. And she is going to.
She's a sweet girl.
Right. She is. And she is going to fight to make this work. And whether or not he is totally in on it, I guess the jury's still out on this one for me.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm not rooting for it, to be honest.
Not either. And I'm kind of like on the fence about Paul and Micah as well.
I have a bone to pick with Micah. Like, I just, the whole Mean Girls thing and I know you spoke to her this week about it, so we'll get to that. But the whole Mean Girl thing with her and Irina kind of making an alliance in the little apartment that they live in, it really turned me off.
Me too.
You know, we've all known girls like this, maybe guys too. I don't like them. I don't like them. And I couldn't get past it. And I think a lot of it's just immaturity, and I think they'll grow out of it. And I think once they watch back this season, and I'm sure they're going to get comments on Instagram and trolls coming after them, I feel like they might change and see that it wasn't a good look for them. But I don't like her for Paul.
No, I don't either. I totally agree with you. It was such a turnoff watching them act like absolute mean girls behind these people's back who are there for the same reason. Well, honestly, I don't think that they were there for the right reasons. I think that they just want to be famous. And, you know, it seems like that, you know, they would do anything to like make these connections with these people so they can get a proposal. And especially with Irina, it seemed like she would just really wanted to get a proposal. It seemed Micah definitely did form connections with Paul and with Kwame, but Irina especially, like just like so mean to Bliss about with the cupcakes and things like that, and just like a terrible, and like it was almost like a game, like who can propose to me first, and I'm gonna rub it in your face.
100%. Irina looked at this as a competition, and I think I looped Micah in because she aligned herself so closely with Irina. So I don't think Micah's on the same level as Irina in the mean girl, whatever spectrum, but she, to me, is kind of in the same loop or in the same bubble or whatever you want to call it, because she aligned herself so closely with a mean girl.
Yeah, I think so too. And I just don't see her and Paul kind of gelling. And since, you know, he's like a scientist, and they just seem like she seems very extra. He seems very reserved. And
and the whole point of the show is the whole opposites attract type of
that's
thing.
true. Mm-hmm.
But I picture him more with like a hipster who like does, you know, gigs at bars and like
exactly
guitar, which I know is stereotyping him, but I feel like Mike is not that.
Right. Totally. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Opposites attract, and it will be fine.
Right. Speaking of red flags, Marshall and Jackie are kind of giving me a couple as well. It seems like she's going to have a hard time like dealing with her emotions, and you know, he's kind of giving her the space that she needs and trying to like figure her out. I mean, they just met each other in person or in Mexico, and she's kind of like having some breakdowns, which is totally normal. I would too, being like, my life is completely changing. But yeah, he seems like the sweetest person ever though.
He seems perfect.
Yeah.
Almost too perfect. I'm like, what's wrong with you, Marshall? He's so cute.
He is so cute.
Adorable. She's too in her head, and it makes me think that there's something going on at home that we don't know about. Maybe an ex-boyfriend. I don't know. But something's like, I feel like she's not telling her full story.
I don't think either. And I just don't get like the physical connection that they might have together. I'm not feeling it. I hope it works out. It kind of reminds me of like Raven and SK last season, where I was like totally like, this isn't going to work. I don't see it. But then who knows, maybe they'll surprise me and it'll end up working. I mean, well, that didn't work out.
Well, it didn't work out, but it ended.
It ended. They got back together. Yeah. Like, it was working out for a time being, but they kind of surprised me in the end. So maybe this will kind of happen for the two of them as well. But I don't know.
She's a little off for me. Like some of the things she said, my quote actually goes to her. I'll say it in a minute. But part of the reason I gave her my quote of the night or the episodes is because I was just like, what'd she just say? Yeah. Like half of the things she's also, I can't get my captions off my Netflix. I don't like, if anyone knows how, please let me know. So I watched the whole 5 episodes with captions on, and some of the things she says, her quotes come up, and I'm like, what does that even mean?
You're like, let me rewind that for a second.
Am I just too old?
Right. No. All right, let's move on to Zach and Irina, because that is probably the relationship that everybody is going to be talking about. I was shocked that he didn't pick Bliss. She seemed like the nicest person, baking him cupcakes for his birthday. And it seemed like they had a really good vibe. But ultimately he went with Irina. And I think like as soon as the doors opened, they were like, well, this was a huge mistake.
Yeah, I think they both thought that. I think that they were just not attracted to each other physically at all. Yeah. And then on top of that, intellectually at all either. I think, he suddenly was like, oh my God, I accidentally picked the mean girl who doesn't even like me and she's mean to me.
Yeah. But she was brutal to him, like brutal. Like it was hard to watch.
It actually was. It was cringeworthy and very immature. Yeah. I'm very curious to see how she reacts after watching herself back on the show. Will she issue an apology? Will she address the fact that she was horrible?
Yeah. I don't know either. And, she's saying that she was attracted to Paul, had really good conversations with him and wanted that with that. And like, also Micah's your best friend or your best friend in the pods. You don't care about going by her behind her back and saying, and doing this either. Like you are a trash person. I'm sorry.
Yeah. She really showed her true colors there. And she just kept going on and on about Paul.
Right.
Like, even after her and Zach broke up, she keeps going on about the fact that I really had a conversation with Paul that just lit me up. And I'm like, first of all, the conversation wasn't even that good. You're just physically attracted to him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was really weird. And I mean, she said that she hopes that he sees Bliss when they get back to Seattle. And the end of this episode ends with him meeting up with Bliss. And he admits that he made the wrong choice. So wonder if she'll give him another chance.
Let us know in the comments. Would you give Zach another chance if you were Bliss?
I don't know about that. I don't know if I could. I really don't know if I could. My quote of the night went to Zach. It said, "It's been absolutely horrible sleeping in this bed with you." Just us being a fly on the wall. It was horrible for us too.
It really was. Like, imagine sleeping in a bed for, I don't know how long it was, but long enough.
Right.
With someone who you just absolutely don't like. I mean, that would be uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
It's already awkward to like sleep in a bed with someone you do like at that point.
Right.
It's so soon, so early on. And
so
anyway, that was hysterical. Mine goes to Jackie just because I didn't even know what she was saying, but I thought it was funny. She said, Irina's Irina, the peasant. I don't mean like old English peasantry type. Someone who's just a weirdo, someone who does dumb for no reason. I don't like that. That's not how I roll. That's not my steez. Don't know what the hell she's saying, but I agree.
No, I have no idea, but yeah, not my vibe at all. No. Well, we were lucky enough to sit down with the cast recently, and I talked to Zach and I talked to Irina about what exactly went wrong in their relationship. Take a look. When was the moment that you realized that you made a mistake with Irina? Was it as soon as you saw each other, or when was that? What was that conversation that maybe you had that you're like, oh, this is not for me?
Well, I wouldn't say the mistake with Irina. What I would say is I made a mistake with not picking Bliss. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the real mistake. And I knew that when I ended it. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of dealing with that. That was, I don't know how much you could see of the turmoil that I was going through with that. But when I did end it, then my very first thing was I wanted to go and tell them to bring her back. Mm-hmm. And that I had made the wrong choice, but I knew I had to live with the decision. And honestly, at that point, I was just ready to, I had fallen in love with two different people. Mm-hmm. And I made a choice and I was going to go forward with that choice. So that was how I felt.
Irina, what was it? When did you realize with Zach that this was not for you? Was it as soon as you saw him? Was it as soon as like you first had that first conversation? When did you realize that this was not the relationship for you?
I do want to say I feel like Zach was one of my favorite people that I obviously met in the pods. I think there's a reason that he chose me or we chose each other in that sense. And I knew that it was going to be difficult seeing him in general. We talked about it. I knew we talked about that I wasn't going to. I don't think I'd want to kiss him, or I don't want to have sex before marriage. But I do want to say that it was a lot more challenging than I thought it was going to be. Like, it was really hard to connect the connection we made in the pods versus being together. And I will say that when I saw him, it wasn't anything about his looks or anything, but I just had this gut feeling that something just didn't feel right. And I didn't feel like safe or comfortable. And I feel like I've had that challenge in relationships in the past with like being able to feel really comfortable around a guy. So I feel like it was just something that grew. And I feel like I was kind of trying to force or pressure myself to feel these feelings for him and to have this more, because I did have a great, amazing connection with him in the pods. And I generally did think I was going to marry him. But outside of that, it was like I was trying so hard to like force it and just wasn't there. And I'm going to trust my gut and go, it was best for me. So I wouldn't say it was anything really, really specific. I think maybe after I saw Paul, because I had an easy energy feeling with Paul, that I was like, wow, I really want to have that. What I have with Paul. But I just felt like, even like as a friend, I'm trying so hard with Zach, and I don't have that, and I just want to have that in my future, and with my future spouse.
Yeah, it was just they were not attracted to each other. Zach said like I didn't make a mistake with picking. I just made the mistake picking the wrong person. Like he doesn't regret picking Irina. It was just the wrong move, and hopefully it works out in his favor. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm also so jealous that you sat down with the cast. To me, like after binge watching this season, I feel like it's better than Brad Pitt.
Seriously, this is like A list.
Yeah, I'd be like shaking, starstruck, everything.
I was a little nervous. I'm like, I don't really get nervous about anything anymore. But yeah, it was like, because you're only like given like a certain amount of time, so you want to get everything in, but it's so hard.
So funny. We also caught up with Micah, who talked about her friendship with Irina and if she regrets becoming friends with her.
Looking back, do you regret kind of aligning yourself or becoming really good friends with Irina in the pods? Since, when you watch it back, she does come across as a little bit of a mean girl in the pods.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? So be it. What she did for me was make me laugh and make me like reminding me who I am, that I'm like, I like to laugh. I like to joke. Like, this is a really serious situation, but I don't have to be like miserable. Like, I can enjoy myself a little bit. And she gave me that. And for that, I don't regret it. Mm-hmm. I think there's going to be a lot that you don't see on the show of, amazing connections that I had with other girls and stuff. But you know what? She was what I needed at the time. And I think she's a great person. I really do.
Definitely. No regrets. Said that she's a great person. Guess we must have, she says that, they don't obviously show everything, but they wanted to paint her out to be the mean person. So they did.
All right. Well, good luck with that friendship.
Good luck with that. All right. Well, that is it for this special edition of a reality recap. We'll be back with you guys next week for another special edition recapping the next few episodes of Love is Blind. Please let us know in the comments. Give us your predictions. Who's making it to the altar? Who's breaking up? Is Zach getting back together with Bliss? There's so many questions and we can't wait for the answers. And we'll be recapping it every step of the way. Keep commenting, keep subscribing. Cheers. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.